This is the Grow Business Podcast with Cory Mosley.
This us? Oh. I didn't know it was a lot of stop-start.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
It's like a mic check. We're recording and everything? Oh, wow. I didn't know. Who knew?
Who knew?
Yeah, they missed. You started recording before my big words kicked in. We were talking about otolaryngology.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. LG didn't know. He said when I pulled that out. He didn't know I knew about that.
Well, what's impressive is it was just as impressive the second time you said it as it was the first.
Yeah, otolaryngology.
You roll it right off your tongue.
Now I only know that because I had a friend. Shout out to Laura Lee. I have a friend. She's still a friend. I don't talk to her that much.
Right.
Although I should. I'm going to tag you in this. Laura Lee, you're going to be tagged in this, and it's going to encourage you. She's got a band.
Oh, wow.
In Richmond.
Okay.
Yeah, called Side Piece, I think it's
called.
Wow, okay. Yeah, it's pretty fun. But the only reason I know is because she worked for She worked for an ENT doctor.
Okay.
At one point in her career.
Sure.
And I learned the term otolaryngologist from her.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So now I pull it out. That sounds smart.
Yes, you do.
So you need an ear, nose, and throat person. You mean an otolaryngologist? Thank you. All right, I forgot we're recording.
Done.
Welcome.
Well done.
Yeah, well done. Yeah, I worked on that. If you're not familiar where you are, you've pressed play on a podcast and you don't know what happened, you're the Grow Business Podcast. I'm your host, Cory Mosley. And I'm joined by my faithful companion, my faithful co-host, LG007, Lon Graham's in the building.
Voice of Reason.
Yes, Voice of Reason. People are tagging you in that now on social media. Now.
Is that right?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. When some of the clips, people are like, oh, another good word from the Voice of Reason.
There we go.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we've got, I mean, just so you know, as soon as we get bigger on YouTube,
Okay.
that's because see, from the audio, people stream on Spotify or Apple, all these great places that we love. They can't put the face to the to the voice.
Right.
But once the YouTube activity ticks up, that's when you're just gonna be, shopping in Kroger.
There you go.
Voice of Reason, because you live closer to Kroger now.
Right.
Yeah, Kroger's right around the corner from you. You're going to hear Voice of Reason, me with the screaming it out. And you'll just be waving and saying hello. It's going to be great. So fun. Good to have you here for another episode,
Good to be
as
back.
always. And of course, the man pushing the buttons, literally, is Willie H. Willie H is here.
Hit the buttons, William.
Always good to have you in the building also, Willie H. He's navigating a few things, over there with some of the buttons.
He's been busy.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't want to be pushing the buttons. So thank you for all you do, Willie H. Push those buttons. So, Lon, I don't know. Is there a such thing as a double audible?
Yes.
Okay. Well, because every week, when we talk about this, we focus the show, obviously, to help business owners, small business owners, entrepreneurs, even people who may be, considering starting their business. Maybe they can get some shortcuts here from our information, right?
Right.
Never, we're not here to be your guru. We're here to simply share some ideas that have worked for us, worked for our clients, our careers, and just share that knowledge. If it makes sense, we hope you work to implement it and find some things that work for you from it, and really want to bring some things to the surface also that maybe aren't on your radar, that you haven't been paying attention to in a lot of ways. And we base these principles on the 5 pillars of business growth. My 5 pillars of business growth, which are mindset, sales, marketing, operations, and people. Fully featured in my latest book, Position for Growth. Now shipping on Amazon, shipping on CoryMosley.com. Also, you can check it out. So we're covering another pillar. We're covering today, another pillar as we do every week, as we started to do. And I was going to do a certain thing. I was going to cover a specific topic.
Okay.
And while we were prepping for the show and Willie H was, getting everything together, I got annoyed by something that came over.
Okay.
And I changed my mind.
So this is literally in real time.
Yeah, this is literally in real time. I literally changed now I don't know how it's going to go because it's not as organized as you normally have the show, but I'm I'm irritated and I'm frustrated, and I think it's hurting people's business.
Okay.
And I want to talk about it. So
Good.
I'm going to put this under the marketing pillar.
Okay.
which I think we were covering anyway.
Okay.
But I'm going to table the other topic because I need to talk about this topic right now as it comes in real time. And it's really irritating because there's a lot of people out there, a lot of business owners are very vulnerable to the marketing decisions, to marketing, right? They're not expert marketers, so they invest in companies who purport to help them with their ideal audience and their people. And my concern is that you have to inspect the work.
Yes.
You have to challenge, because a lot of these people are hiring these services to do some type of specialty, LinkedIn outreach, Facebook marketing, those type of things. And then it's like, A, is it working? But B, what is going out there?
Yeah.
And what's got me fired up right now, and I'm going to bring you in just a second. What's got me fired up right now is this resurgence of cold emails. Cold email marketing is becoming, I think email kind of settled itself a little bit from a B2B standpoint. Of course, you still get your Williams-Sonoma and your IKEA emails, every day. But I think a lot of the B2B. So I believe there's been this resurgence in cold email marketing, bringing people to fruition, trying to warm them up, being email. So business owners are paying companies to, whether get lists or create lists or whatever. Fine. But it's what some of these companies are doing that are creating bad follow-through for your brand.
Okay.
I just got an email before the show.
All right.
And that's why. And the email is from some company purporting to, let's see what they do here. They're going to get me booked on podcasts.
Okay.
Okay.
Fantastic.
So it's a cold email.
Okay.
Saying, hey, Cory, I noticed you worked at Cory Mosley. So step one, obviously this is bad merging going on. Then it talks about, are they going to put me on these podcasts? And, it's because, again, they're trying to design to be pithy too, like, oh, you're interested or whatever. And now the guy signs it. I have to assume he's not the one who personally sent this to me. I hope not.
Right.
I'm not going to call the company. He's got a little quote in there. I guess that's supposed to get me fired up.
Right.
The future is for those who trust in the magic of dreams. You know who said that?
No.
All right, I'll give you a clue.
Okay.
You know Willie H? Willie H at Walt Disney. That's not correct, so give yourself a button that says wrong.
That bad.
Yeah, that bad. I give you want to guess? So give
me three choices.
Well, I'm going to help you out significantly here. So the quote is, the future is for those who trust in the magic of dreams. It was said by a first lady. So now I've scaled it down to 40.
So Eleanor Roosevelt.
That is correct.
Wow.
Give LG 007. What do we got for him over there? Anything? Oh, whoa, okay. Woo. A jarring statement.
He was as surprised as you were that I got it right.
Yeah, look at that. It was like, but I guess she's quoted in a lot of ways. So I don't, you've got your kind of go-tos for who gets who
Well, that's
who were
consistent
highly
with her
quoted.
too.
Yeah, first ladies.
Yeah, that's consistent with
So
her.
there's a quote in there, but it's just a bad email. Number one, it's just it's bad mail merge, it's bad information, lowercase, upcase, it's not spelled right. And I have to assume somebody paid somebody to do this.
Right.
Because now what I do, of course, is I go and I look at who the email's from, and then I go to the website, and then now I go down the rabbit hole of making all types of decisions.
Right.
Which mainly ends up with me deciding that I'm not going to pay any attention to this.
Right.
So I want to be clear. What are your feelings on cold? I'm not against cold email. What are your thoughts on that first?
Well, I'm not against cold email either, and I understand that there's an element of that that's just not going to fit, right? I mean, part of it is you just got to send out a bunch of emails. The reality of it, though, is if you're paying for it, like you said, you want to make sure that you're getting something that represents you for what you're paying for.
Yeah.
So get on that list that goes
to
out.
See what they're sending.
Right.
Yeah.
Get on that list that goes out. Include me on that list. Or there's lots of ways you can do it, and we'll get into this. But cold emails, outreach, and
Right.
there's good ways to do it and there's not good ways to do it. And that's a semi not good way to do it.
Yeah. You think?
Yeah, exactly.
But I think, I mean, so I like I mean, again, you want to find warm market, you want to find hand raisers.
Right.
But
100%.
my concern is, and maybe we'll go a little deeper in I guess, a little deeper in the thoughts on cold email in a second, but it's the idea that this is bad marketing for this person.
Right.
They're investing money because the business owners that I know and I work with have great intention. I mean, they take care of the customers.
Right.
They want to do better. They want to grow their business. Right. And they go into these things optimistic.
Right.
With the right ideas.
Right.
Trusting the marketers or trusting these people to execute. Right. With the right intentions.
Yes.
But then you've got this garbage
right.
that is going out there. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, there's two things I want to say. One is it looks bad when it comes to you because you're very very familiar with how to market, and so you're more of an expert than the people that may necessarily be a client. So it looks bad to you. The other thing I'm going to say too, though, is.
But are you suggesting that that's not bad? Terrible mail merge, misspelling, capital, lowercase.
Okay. Right. That's not a good representation of the brand it's intended to represent. 100%.
Yeah.
I also know too, though, and this comes from you and I have enough of a sales background to understand that you're not going to get everything right for everybody. So you've got to try and find the people that you can get it right for.
Right.
Now you want it to look good. Just because you're not the right person doesn't mean it can't look good. Doesn't mean it can't be professionally done. And that's what you're talking about is make sure that if you're paying somebody to represent you, that they represent you in a way that you need to be represented and want to be represented.
Because I think, do you think right now, do you agree that we're in a phase where most people, I'm okay with it being a cold email.
Right.
Like I'm okay realizing that AI probably wrote it or whatever probably wrote it.
Right.
Like I don't believe it's personally from them.
Correct.
So I'm okay with that. And I think the average person is, if it's relevant.
Correct.
I have done business with people from cold emails.
Yes.
Because what they were emailing me about was relevant to me.
Correct.
But I can't tell you that I've done business with someone on a cold email that has had a poor email.
Well, right. I mean, you are one of the few people that would open that and go down that rabbit hole. Most people would read that and just dismiss it. Right. If they even got to it. Because open rate, I mean, here's the other part that we'll probably
now
talk
I'm curious.
about.
Keep talking because I got to see the website now. I'm going to go while you're doing that. Keep going.
Because first of all, open rates on cold emails is low. And I mean, if you're anywhere close to 25 to 30%, you're doing great on open rates alone. And then response rates is single digits.
Okay.
So you're spamming. I mean, cold emails are spray and pray, right? I mean, that's what you're doing anyway.
Correct. You're looking for hand raisers.
Right. So you can but you're increasing your open rate and you're increasing your effectiveness if you make it good. Like if you have good grammar, if you have good, if you don't have lowercase and uppercase.
This website is.
What's representative of the
I'm
email?
learning Spanish, by the way. So I will say no bueno.
Okay.
This website's no bueno.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
I mean, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it now. I'm scanning it. You're like, it's real information.
Yeah,
like this is
like
the
it's
thing.
legit. It doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, this
good,
looks
though.
like they built it. Maybe like somebody built it in a day or whatever.
Right.
Sure. And look, there's some names here, folks. If you're watching, I mean, I encourage you to check us out on YouTube, and you can see us doing this actual process. But like, okay, I mean, that's a university there.
Yes.
So they're showing that they have some. Because I find anybody can get clients at some point in time, right? Sustainability on that is a whole different story.
Correct.
But and they're pitching their deal. But I just think they're going about it the wrong way. So I guess, go ahead.
Well, back to we'll go down this rabbit hole too, but back to the beginning, which was your point is that clients need to make sure that they know what they're getting when they pay for marketing.
Right.
And that's really what we're talking about here are the people who paid for that, are they getting it? Do they know that that's what it looks like?
Right.
And are they addressing it?
Yeah.
And that's where you started with. And I'm sure that there's a list in there that we could go down. We could spend look, it's in marketing, so we could spend
Yeah.
500 hours in marketing alone. But the reality of it is when we go back to the very beginning of this, and what got you fired up is that clients, when you're a business owner,
Right.
you've got to know what you're getting when you pay for something.
Right.
And I'll turn it back over to you, because I think that's where you started. And then we started talking about all the
It's
things
just
that are
upsetting
wrong.
because if
100%.
this company is really good at what they do,
Right.
it's that first impression.
Correct.
So now they're getting some report that talked about how many people we went out to and opens. Like, I'm on the open rate,
Right.
but that's about where it ends.
Right.
So it does a couple things to me. Number one, it sours somebody on a tactic that could work for them
Correct.
long term,
Yes.
because there are things that are correctable here.
Yes.
And it ate up a budget. So they might have said no to something else to actually do this with the right intentions.
Right.
Now, I think so. What I think I want to shape, so my rant, we're not just done with the episode because my rant's coming to an end,
Right.
is I think what we'll do, let's talk cold email.
Correct.
And let's reframe that. So at best, if you are engaging in that or going to work with a vendor in that area,
Right.
let's figure out and agree on let's share some tactics.
Yeah.
And maybe some framework there, right? So,
Yeah.
As I think about this, I think about, of course, number one, let's set some clear goals,
Yes.
right? So let's define the clear goals, right? What is the purpose that you want to have happen? Is it a generic lead? Do you want them to actually book a meeting?
Right.
Is it awareness? Is it promoting a product like Position for Growth book?
Right.
That everybody should be getting their hands on? What does that look like?
Yeah, I think the number one thing that you're talking about, and this is with cold email or any marketing really, is how do you define success for that project? And that's exactly what you're talking about.
What is the goal?
What is successful?
Yeah, we want hits to the website. What type of conversions that we want?
Right.
And then within that goal, right, is now the conversation about the KPIs.
Correct.
Right, key performance indicators for my small business owners that maybe aren't tracking certain things. So, what are the expectations that should be set? Now, again, I really don't want you executing your own stuff because that's not your area.
Right.
But from your vendors, right?
Right.
What open rates should I expect? And then independently look at that. Can they share campaigns from previous similar clients?
Right.
Right. Or are they just kind of, experimenting on you?
Right.
And then benchmark that, right? Ask the internet. Right. And I mean, as dangerous as that is.
Right.
But when you think about cold email, if you Google, if I Google, I'm going to do it right now. If I Google right now, cold email open rates.
Okay.
Oh, cold email open rate benchmark. Okay, that comes up there.
There you go.
An average open rate is between 40 to 60%.
Oh, okay.
Although it doesn't seem high, it's still a way. Now I'm just looking at whatever's coming up here.
Right.
So what is a good open rate in cold email? 20 to 40% across all industries.
All right.
So you can so now, I'm asking my vendor, what are your rates?
Right.
And now you have some comparison there. So you can determine if that was successful.
Right.
But ultimately, that success is, did what you want to have happen.
Right.
And in order for you to know that, you have to have said what you want.
Right. You have to define success.
What you want
in
to
this
have happen.
conversation.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You have to say, here's what success looks like for us.
Yeah.
And this is what I talk about when I talk to sales leaders all the time. The number one principle for success is you have to define success.
Right.
Because defining success tells you where you're going. And if you don't know where you're going nowhere.
Right.
So what you've got to do with the vendor, if you're going to decide on a vendor, or when you're meeting with a vendor about, if you decide I want to use cold email as an outreach program, okay, these are the things that I want to accomplish with it.
Right.
And this is how I'm going to measure it.
Right.
And one way to measure it is open rates. Another way to measure it is conversion rates. We've talked about conversion rates in other episodes. What are you getting? Like what is an engagement rate? What is a conversion rate? Because those are all the things that you're looking at. Open rates. Then there's engagement. Like what does that person do something when they open it?
Right.
And then once they do something, do you convert them into business? And those are the types of things that you want to look at and establish for yourself and say, okay, this is what I'd like going into a conversation with a vendor about cold emails. And then you ask them, okay, in your mind, you know what you want.
Yep.
Say, what are these things, what are your numbers or what are your metrics or what, because KPIs and KPMs are the same thing. One's indicators and one's metrics, right?
Yes.
So depending on where you are and what business and industry you're in. But you go in and you say, here are the things, in your mind, you say, these are the things that would make us successful for me. And you ask them the questions, what are your numbers or what are your statistics in relationship to these categories? And then you can have conversations about what's realistic, how far is the gap between what you want or not. And maybe you decide that's not the right person. The outreach might be right, but you may need to talk to somebody else.
No, absolutely. All good points. Willie H. got something for you there, I think.
Maybe this guy can help me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So I think that's good. I think the other thing though that we want to have consideration for, and I believe this is an important two-way conversation. And that's the audience, right?
Right.
So segmentation, the list. And why I say that's something to look at that may sound obvious and be on the nose for a lot of people.
Right.
Is that a lot of times we take the cue, there's a collaborative, or there should be a collaborative activity taking place. And what I mean by that is you want to take guidance from your marketing partner.
Yes.
But your customer, at least your customer.
Right.
Many business owners are wrong on their prospect,
right.
and that needs to be tuned.
Right.
But the one thing you can know for sure is look at your customer list and shape who your past buyers have been.
Correct.
Demographically, socially, whatever you're into in terms of products or services.
Right.
Combining that with some open-mindedness and guidance from your marketing versus switching the pendulum or swinging the pendulum too far in either direction.
Right. Well, and look, I'm a big Jim Collins fan. He wrote Good to Great, Great by Choice, and How the Mighty Fall.
A lot of people challenge that book.
Well, I mean,
the Good to Great book, because historically some of those companies.
Well, I mean,
yikes. Is that yikes?
I mean, I think we've had this conversation before.
Yeah.
Everything has a life expectancy. You just don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's 5 years, sometimes it's 50 years, whatever.
Right.
But one thing he said in there, and this is where I'm going with it, and I don't remember which book it is, but it's one of those. He said fire bullets and then cannonballs. And so my point is, you talk about who is your ideal customer. Well, shape your ideal customer and fire bullets. Send a batch of emails to that target.
Right.
And identify that target and see what kind of response you get, and then modify it for a larger audience.
Right.
So that's the fire bullets first, small targeted, and then your cannonballs. You go bigger after you get some feedback.
Well, and that's where I encourage segmentation too,
100%.
is because that way, if I go out to everybody, then what I end up is a collective statistic.
Right.
And I may miss a subcategory or a more niche group.
Right.
Within, because now I go out, I look at one open rate, I look at one click through, I look at one response rate, and what I may miss though, had I segmented by, company size or industry or interest or whatever,
right,
I may want to look at 3 or 4 3 or 4 segmented results to determine if I need to go deeper in one area and eliminate another area. I mean, this kind of stuff's common, right? And when you think about Facebook advertising or some of those areas where the audiences are baked in. Cold outreach, though, depending on who you're working with,
right?
We're going to put a list of 20,000 together and get that list out and get you some leads.
Right.
That's scary talk.
Right. It is scary talk.
In the broad. And the challenge today. Why are you laughing? I haven't said anything yet.
Well, because you took the deep breath, which
because
means
it's
something...
The challenge today is everybody's a marketer.
Right.
Somebody went and took a Udemy course, and now they're a solopreneur agency.
Right.
On marketing.
Right.
And they're going out and getting clients.
Correct.
Because maybe they have good hustle.
Right.
Or their price point.
Right.
Trying to feed yourself is completely different than trying to run an organization.
Correct.
And have multiple, people and employees and overhead. So you're out there now somebody's out there now grabbing clients for $300. And you're like, oh, I'm getting a deal because they sound like they know, what they're talking about.
Yeah.
But do they?
Yeah. Well, what you're talking about, we call it in sales spray and pray, right?
Yeah.
You just spray everything and pray that something will grow.
Right.
That's such a great point, is that segmentation piece. And I think instead of doing it all at once, do one segment at a time.
Right.
And maybe you do one segment 1 week, another segment the next week, and then you start to do some of the scheduled follow-up. But you look at these segments, to your point, and you get as specific as you can, because that's going to be the most valuable response rates.
Right.
Now, if you segment correctly, your open rate should be higher.
Right.
Your engagement rate should be higher.
Right.
And your conversion rate should be higher.
I just turned into you. Right. We just did role reversal there for a moment.
Exactly
right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Tell me more.
Indeed.
All right. So we like that.
Yeah.
I think now obviously you get into the meat. You can get into meat and potatoes, which really you should be getting guidance from your marketing company, right? Subject lines,
right?
Personal. You're looking for personalization. You're looking for relevancy,
right?
In a initial cold email, we're looking also for short. People don't want your novel,
right?
Right? They're not, again, in that hand raiser idea. This ultimately is, when you think about a subject line, right?
Right.
That is first impression.
Yeah. Well, subject line, and here's the other part of it, in addition to the subject line, Cory. I worked as a sales leader for a long time, and I would send emails out to my sales team. There were people that are in the field. They're not carrying their computer around. You've got to have your initial engagement accessible on the phone.
Right.
And it's got to be mobile. And you've talked about this a number of different times. Is it mobile friendly?
Right.
If you're sending out a cold email, if you can't read the meat of it on your screen, they're not scrolling. So you've got to make sure you get high impact, top page, right? Top of the page. We go back to the old newspaper days. What's on the top of the page? Top half of page A, top half of page 1. What are people seeing when they see that? So maybe they see 2 or 3 lines. What kind of engagement is that?
Right.
And that's, we're digging into the weeds a little bit, but these are real things that you got to figure out.
Yeah, and that's from a technique, right? You should be thinking about questions, personalization, the correct personalization, right?
Right.
Not Cory with Cory, right? That was just dumb. And of course, I talk about in the 4 C's of sales communication, that last C is curiosity.
Right.
And being able to communicate that. Again, a good vendor who's providing you those type of services, you should be seeing that. So when they're sharing with you examples or you're reviewing the copy, ask yourself this, right? So now we're saying, okay, great. What type of stats should I have? How's my list? How are you guys going to segment? These are the questions to ask that vendor.
Right.
How are you going to segment? How you go about segmenting our list? How you make sure we're targeting the right ideal audience? And then now what's the copy look like? Is this copy, now you're reviewing that. You're looking to see, is it short? Is it personalized? Is it relevant? Are they using questions, personalization? Are they using curiosity? Like these are all areas that, we want to do. And if you're using mail merge, have the correct information. It's just sloppy.
It is.
Because we're in a world of AI and bots and content and things. People understand that I make it a point if I send somebody a message to say it's really me. I suppose even bots can do that too, to fake the funk, but like in genuine sense. Because most of this is predictable now. Yeah. Now you accept the LinkedIn request. 2 seconds later, here comes the message, and they're throwing up on you.
Here comes a 5-page sales call.
Yeah, they're throwing up, and like that just seems like 101 to me.
Right.
I understand you may be wanting to connect for the reasons of doing business, God forbid.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
And if I'm interested in what you're offering or what you're doing, I don't need 83 white papers over 83 days.
Right.
But there's some middle ground.
Yeah, there's definitely a balance that you got to find, for sure.
The other thing, I think value plays a big role in this.
Now, so the answer is yes to that, but what do you mean when you say that?
So I mean, getting the benefits.
Yes.
Kind of in that message, right? Again, we have that fee. It's really reversed. I don't quite know the father or mother of features and benefits why they chose features ahead of benefits.
Right.
But really, it's benefits ahead of features.
Right.
No one cares about how it works until they buy into the need for it.
Right.
Right.
Well, it goes back to, we've had, in a previous episode, we had a conversation on sales, right? We talked about, are we telling people what we can do, or are we telling people what we can do for you?
Right.
And the benefit is what I can do for you. The feature is what I can do.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't matter what product you offer, what service you offer. There's 10 to 20 benefits that are real tangible benefits or features that you offer.
Right.
Only 2 or 3 of them are going to benefit the person on the other side. So you've got to figure out, that's why segmentation is so important, is because if you're talking to a very specific audience, there's going to be some consistency in the things that benefit that audience.
Yeah.
It allows you to shape that message in a way that's going to increase those numbers that we talked about: open rate, read rate, engagement rate, conversion rate.
Yep.
And that's, but you've got to give somebody a reason to buy in or to get 100%, engaged.
100%.
Voice of
yeah, there you go. And listen, value. Are there social proof, right? Are there some things to back up whatever claim you might be making there? So again, you're looking where fashion is just as core elements, and this is applicable if you're writing. I don't recommend you be doing your own scaled campaigns because there's a lot of complexity. You want certain protections, like getting into the technical side of like protecting yourself against spam and being blacklisted and things like that. So you want to work with a professional company. But if you're doing prospecting, you're doing some one-to-one stuff. This is still applicable there if it's a cold one-to-one kind of piece, right?
Right.
And then, of course, there's always the one I think so many people leave out is the call to action.
Correct.
Or the call to action is passive. Would you like to? What do you think about? And that comes from if the business owner's doing it, it's derived from a place of not wanting to offend, not wanting to be salesy. And like one more person tells me that there's a lot of sales made, Lon, by people who are salesy.
Right.
I don't know what to say like about that, and I don't know what that means.
Right.
Sharing the value of your product or service with the world or to anybody who you think it's applicable to.
Right.
I want to use the word aggressive, but zealously.
Correct.
Why does that make somebody say, "Oh, you're in sales mode now"? Right. Okay. Well, I don't know what that means, but tell me where I'm wrong.
Okay.
Right. Tell me where I'm wrong, and I mean, great. I want to sell you you wear nice sport coats, so you obviously like nice sport coats.
Right.
I sell sport coats.
Right.
Where is it salesy of me to want to engage you to have an opportunity to sell you a sport coat?
Right. Yeah. So the answer to that is, and it's really unfortunate, but the answer to that is this. People have 10 opportunities for engagement with a sales professional or person. One of those 10 was a bad experience. That's the one that sticks in their mind, and that's the one that they think about. Not the one where somebody saved their bacon because they needed something and they found the right person found them. Right. They needed to do it. The person that comes up and knocks on your front door because your grass is the worst yard in the neighborhood, and they say, "Hey, I was working with the person next door and they said I should come talk to you. We can do some things to help you make your yard look better."
Right.
That's not salesy. That's solving a problem. The issue is when people say, "I don't want to be salesy," is they had a slimy feeling about one person, and that's what they think of. They don't think of the 9 people out of the 10 that did a great job, that were professional in their approach, that engaged them and made them feel really good about the experience. When people say, "I don't want to feel salesy," it's because they think about the one slimy experience that they had. Nothing in life's perfect. And the reality of it is if you don't talk about what you do, it's a secret, and secrets don't sell.
Right. Yeah. The bottom line, be salesy.
Correct. And get better at it. The more salesy you are, the better you get at it, so the less salesy you become.
Yeah, right. Exactly. You don't have to and I mean, sounds salesy. I guess, yes, the problem is there's so many bad, I mean, it's almost like a bad pickup line. Right? Being sale is like a bad pickup line. It's the equivalent of that, right? Versus someone going, ooh, yeah, you're pretty smooth. Right? Like you just respect that more. Like, again, that sales is a lot like dating. I talk about this all the time in live stuff, but it's that same idea. A woman, and I'll speak just simply in the context of man-woman, no offense to anybody, but the man-woman perspective, a woman knows a pickup line. Right. That doesn't mean it's not, if you have the right woman, that doesn't mean it's not fun and lighthearted and they get it. Like they get it, right? You're breaking the ice. Like it's not, even though it's a pickup line.
Well, delivery and intent matter too,
sure,
right?
Of course.
100%.
Yeah. So no, I just, it's the same thing. I can appreciate a good cold email. I can appreciate a good elevator pitch. Sometimes I think that gets off the rails, right? It's the joke about I'm a custodial engineer, committed to the cleanliness and optimization of my workspace, right? As janitor. Correct. So people get off the rail with that. And what's scary is, again, that's something there's also a course on that. Like people teach that. Right. Like people will teach, I help people build their dreams brick by brick without needing a masonry kit. Like, I don't know. Like it's just, it's a middle ground. I think there's so much extreme, like your extreme left, so right. We think about it, we compare that a lot. We're inundated with politics now. So like, there's just so much extreme, where a lot of times growth is to be had in the middle. Well,
and I'm jumping you around here, but I think this is an important point. Let's take a step back. If you're the business owner that is listening to this podcast today, and you say, well, I don't want to be salesy. Right. Take a step back, go look in the mirror and identify your intent. Right. If your intent is to do good and to make people's lives better, and you have a solution to do that. Yeah. Now, granted, your solution is not going to be for everybody. That's why we talk about segmentation. Right. That's why we talk about defining your target market and your ideal client. And that's why we talk about all of those things. But go look in the mirror and say, is my intent good? Do I have integrity for doing good things? If somebody does business with me, are they going to be better for it? Right. And if the answer is yes to those questions, then suck it up, buttercup, and go tell people what you do. Right.
Yeah, there it is. Where the church say amen. There you go. Look at that. Why don't I just go somewhere? All right, let's I'm gonna wrap up a couple more and we'll get out of here. Yep. This is interesting. I think most business owners aren't thinking about this, but like timing matters. Yeah. Because there's so much data. That's the key with the right partner. Right. And I've met so many people with bad partners or thought they were, I thought so-and-so was doing a good job for us. And you peel the onion back a little bit. When we do this with like the digital audits and some of the stuff that we do, complimentary. So you can go to CoryMosley.com and click on integrated marketing and learn more about that piece. Now, full disclosure, we don't sell anything that has to do with cold email. So this isn't a commercial for using us. I mean, certainly our rebranding and some of the digital marketing pieces we do, what we call integrated marketing, which you can learn on the site. But the idea of optimized timing, there are things that are just simply known that the internet service providers know and the marketers that spend millions of dollars tracking this stuff. Right. Things like optimal times. Correct. Like, the idea that Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, mid-mornings, mid-afternoons, from a decision maker. Now, this could be different if you're selling B2C or B2B. Right. But that's a question. So, to that provider. Oh, so when do you guys typically recommend sending your emails? Correct. Well, if you don't hear a succinct plan, again, red flags, right? So you want to hear Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, mid-morning, mid-afternoon. You want to look for those reinforcements when you're getting asked those questions. And I think that's the key there. Well, and you talked about timing. Part of timing is frequency, right? Yeah. How often is this going out? And are you staggering times? Because there are certainly ideal times, right, based on your target audience and your target market. And if you don't believe that, all you got to do is go back to Tide. And the reason that soap operas are called soaps
is because Tide advertised during the soap operas back in the, when.
Is this true?
Oh, 100% true.
I did not know this.
100% true. Tide and other soap companies too. But the reason that they're called soaps is because typically when you had one person working in the household,
right,
the other person was at home raising the family. And, man and woman,
soap
doesn't matter.
opera.
But they're called soap operas. They're operas.
Right.
And they're called soap operas because the soap companies paid advertising for marketing during those times because the people that typically watch those were
housewives.
At home. Yeah.
Right. Huh. I did not know that story.
Yeah.
Look at LG. We're going to start a segment with LG where you've got to wear a academic a cap and gown. We used to do the Bill Bevins. Shout out to Bill Bevins, WTVR 6 Virginia this morning. He does I think he still does it. He does the Guru. Yeah. He puts on the hat and where'd that come from? Yeah, and he gives you the word and then you got to say where it is. Good guy, great guy, radio and broadcast TV legend, Bill Bevins. Shout out. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But the point.
I think that's good. I mean, I think we made something out of this.
100%.
Tangible out of my irritation.
Yeah. And the reality of it is Cory, ultimately what we're saying here on this and on every podcast that we have is there's things you need to be able to do that somebody else, you got to hire somebody to do.
Right.
Have a clear idea of what you want to accomplish before you go talk to somebody. That's what we're saying. Understand what you want to do and what you want to accomplish, and then go talk to some people that can help you accomplish it.
I love it. I think we're going to leave it there. Willie, ain't you a little light today on the accoutrement audios? Know what that is about. You awake? Work with me, bro. Yeah, exactly. You want to get a few in before we, what do you got? You want a flurry before we go?
Perfect.
Bingo. One more before we get out of here. One more. This might be a guy I want to work with. I was going to say, we can't have dead air here, Willie.
Right, exactly.
Woo, all right. I'm going to end now because I don't know what Willie H is doing over there. For all I know, we might not be recording right now. Folks, as always, we like to end the show encouraging you to keep doing the things necessary to build your business. LG, we want to thank people for, why don't you do it? Why do I got to plug it? You can plug it.
Well, for those of you who are new to us, this episode is also sponsored by Position for Growth by Cory Mosley.
Yeah. Where can I get that thing?
Well, they can get it on Amazon.com and they can get it at CoryMosley.com.
That's good, yeah.
And from what I've heard, if you get it on CoryMosley.com and you request an autograph from the author, the author is willing to do that.
Yes. If you care about that stuff.
I
don't buy into my own. I don't buy into the. I think people will like that.
Right. Well, I think that there's a personal element to it. I've got books from people that I've met. That have autographed it for me.
And I won't get rid of those books.
And I'll hold on to them.
Yeah.
Right, 100%.
100%.
Yeah, and there's a couple of them that I use as examples when I give talks and I refer to, and so it personalizes it in a different way. But so coming back to, as we wrap up though.
Maybe I should spray it with my cologne.
Yeah,
just kidding.
You can
really should know in that case. Like he stuck his head up. He peered his head up.
you and your wife can work that one out.
That's funny. Listen, we're gonna do what we got to do here to move these books. You hear what I'm saying? Okay, have book will sell. Right? Don't want to be salesy, but you need to divide if you're looking for ways to grow your business. But more importantly, we want to thank you, our loyal listeners. Hitting some milestones and downloads. I think we broke 50,000 downloads recently.
Congratulations.
I don't know. I mean, sounds good to me.
Right.
So I don't know where that is. That could be nothing in podcast land, but we're certainly excited to have you coming back every week and watching our audience grow. And we appreciate your comments and your positive comments. I haven't really had any negative Nellies out there.
No, it's been good.
I think we've got a solid audience of people who gravitate. I mean, if you like our personalities, you come back every week, and if you like our information, you come back every week. If you don't, I understand. There's a lot of different people out there talking, and it's a matter of connecting with who you connect with. going to leave it there.
Yeah.
We've got some new broadcast partners, some new streaming partners. We're now officially streaming out to the AAFD, fantastic organization, American Association of Franchise Dealers.
Awesome.
These are the men and women across the country who literally are the backbones running small businesses. They're the franchisees that you see in the marketplace when you go into your local Subway, when you go into your local Nothing Bunk Cakes, you get your oil change and a Meineke. Those franchisee owners are small business owners in your community.
Yeah.
So we're thankful to have the opportunity to share some of this knowledge with them and happy to have them as a new streaming partner. And I'm going to leave it there. Who are you?
I'm LG007.
LG007 Lon Grant. I'm Cory Mosley on behalf of Willie H. This has been the Grow Business Podcast. And we will see you next week. Willie H., take us out. Sometimes you just got to call an audible.
The reality of
but
it
it's
is
real time
in your face.
Yeah, it's real time stuff that's happening, and I don't.
you're like, Lon, look at this.
Yeah, I don't get it. Yeah, it really was like that.
Oh man,
it really was like that for sure.
Well, it's real life and real world, and the people that are listening are dealing with stuff every day. And
that's right.
They're dealing with real world too.
100%.
That's awesome about the franchise dealers.
Yeah.
That's so
cool. Nice. Yeah. We're going to be announcing some other stuff, so keep those.
Congratulations on 50.
Thank you. 50. Same to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's 50 more than when we started.
That's right. It's more than just your sister and my mother now.
That's correct. That's right.
Another good job.
That's correct. Awesome. That's good. I like the marketing material
the official
continues to.
There,